China, the Great Wall and the Hidden Villages, a journey through time. China is a land where time does not simply pass, it layers itself. Every mountain, every stone, every silent village carries the memory of centuries gone by. Among all the symbols of China, none is more powerful, more mysterious, or more iconic than the Great Wall. But beyond the wall, far from the busy cities and modern skylines, lies another China, a world of hidden villages, forgotten paths, and traditions that have survived against time itself. This documentary is a journey into both. The Great Wall, a spine of stone across a civilization. Stretching over 21,000 kilometers, the Great Wall of China is not a single wall, but a vast network of fortifications built across dynasties. It winds through deserts, climbs steep mountains, and disappears into forests, as if the land itself decided to rise and protect its people. Construction began over 2,300 years ago, long before modern machines existed. Millions of laborers, soldiers, farmers, craftsmen, shaped stone by hand, hauling bricks across impossible terrain. Each section of the wall reflects the era that built it. Rammed earth in ancient times. Stone and brick during later dynasties. Watchtowers positioned like chess pieces across the landscape. The wall was not only a military structure. It was a communication system, using smoke signals, fire beacons, and drum beats to warn of danger across vast distances. Standing on the Great Wall today, one can feel the silence of history, broken only by the wind. Beyond the wall, China's hidden villages. While the Great Wall attracts millions of visitors, China's hidden villages remain largely untouched. These villages lie deep in mountains, valleys, and remote river regions, where modern life arrived slowly, or not at all. In these villages, stone houses are built without nails. Narrow pathways replace roads. Generations live under one roof. Traditions are passed by memory, not books. Some villages are more than 1,000 years old, preserved not by design, but by isolation. Stone villages of the north. Near remote sections of the Great Wall are ancient stone villages, built using the same materials as the wall itself. Homes blend into the mountains, almost invisible from a distance. Villagers once served as guards, messengers, and suppliers for the wall. Their lives were shaped by its presence. The wall was not separate from the village, it was part of daily life. Even today, elders recall stories of signal fires lighting the night sky. Soldiers marching through mountain passes. Winters so harsh they shaped character and survival. Hidden water villages of southern China. Far from the wall, in southern China, lie hidden water villages, places where canals replace streets. Wooden houses rise from rivers, and stone bridges connect daily life. These villages reflect a different rhythm. Life moves with the water. Boats replace cars. Markets float at dawn. Time here feels slower, as if the modern world forgot to knock. Architectural wisdom without machines. One of the most fascinating aspects of these villages is their engineering brilliance. Without modern tools, villagers mastered natural ventilation, earthquake-resistant structures, climate-adaptive homes. Roofs curved to manage rain and snow. Courtyards control airflow. Walls are placed according to sunlight and wind. This is architecture shaped by experience, not blueprints. Daily life in hidden China. In the early morning, mist rises from the valleys. Roosters echo between stone walls. Smoke curls gently from kitchens. Life follows traditions. Hand-woven fabrics. Seasonal farming. Community gatherings. Oral storytelling. There is no rush, only rhythm. The struggle between preservation and change. As China modernizes rapidly, these villages face a difficult future. Young generations move to cities. Old houses stand empty. Some villages disappear completely. Others are slowly restored. Balancing tourism with preservation. The challenge is not just saving buildings, but saving ways of life. The Great Wall is a witness. The Great Wall still stands, not as a barrier, but as a witness. It has seen empires rise and fall. It has watched villages flourish, fade, and endure. From the wall's highest towers, one can look out and imagine. Caravan routes. Forgotten villages. Lives lived quietly in its shadow. Forgotten paths and silent watchtowers. Along the lesser-known sections of the Great Wall, nature has begun to reclaim what humans once built. Collapsed watchtowers stand like skeletons on ridgelines. Stone steps, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, now lead nowhere. These paths were once alive. Messengers running through the night. Guards scanning the horizon. Supply caravans moving between villages. Today, only the wind remains, carrying echoes of the past. Villages that time almost forgot. Some hidden villages appear abandoned at first glance. Doors hang open. Courtyards are overgrown. Roof tiles are missing. But listen carefully, life still exists. An elderly woman sweeping stone steps. A farmer tending a small field by hand. A child's laughter breaking the silence. These villages survive not because they resist change, but because they adapt slowly. Mountain villages above the clouds. High in China's mountainous regions lie villages that seem suspended between earth and sky. Reaching them requires hours of walking along narrow trails carved into cliffs. Here, clouds drift through doorways. Fields cling to steep slopes. Life depends on cooperation. Every house is positioned with intention. Every pathway tells a story. Isolation has preserved traditions that vanished elsewhere centuries ago. Terraced landscapes and human patience. In many hidden regions, villagers shaped entire mountains into terraced fields. These terraces are not random, they follow precise natural curves. Each layer controls water flow, prevents erosion, maximizes sunlight. From above, the landscape looks like a living painting, green in spring, gold in harvest, silver under frost. This is patience carved into stone. Language, memory, and oral history. In these villages, history is rarely written. It is spoken. Elders tell stories by firelight. Of famine and survival. Of migrations and return. Of walls built, and walls abandoned. Dialects here differ from city speech. Some words exist nowhere else in the world. When a village disappears, an entire language can vanish with it. Traditional crafts at the edge of extinction. Hidden villages are guardians of ancient crafts. Hand-thrown pottery. Natural dye weaving. Wood carving. Stone masonry. These skills require years to master and offer little profit in modern markets. Young people leave. Masters grow old. What disappears is not just a craft, but a way of thinking shaped by hand and time. Seasons that still control life. Unlike cities ruled by clocks and screens, village life follows seasons. Spring brings planting. Summer brings repair. Autumn brings harvest. Winter brings stories and rest. Time here moves in circles, not lines. The Great Wall at dawn and dusk. At sunrise, the Great Wall glows softly, stone turning gold under the first light. At dusk, shadows stretch across valleys as the wall fades into darkness. These moments reveal its true nature, not a monument, but a companion to the land. The wall does not dominate the mountains, it follows them. Tourism, a double-edged sword. As interest grows, tourists seek the hidden China. Some villages welcome this change. Others struggle. Tourism brings roads, income, preservation efforts. But it also brings commercialization, loss of authenticity, cultural performance instead of living culture. The challenge is balance. A question of the future. What will remain in 100 years? Will the Great Wall still stretch across the horizon? Will the hidden villages still breathe with life? Or will they exist only in photographs and documentaries? Preservation is not about freezing time. It is about allowing history to continue naturally. Where maps end and memory begins. Beyond marked roads and tourist routes, there are places that do not appear on maps. Villages known only to those who live there. Paths remembered not by signs, but by footsteps. Here, directions are given through stories. Follow the ridge where the wind changes. Turn where the old tree leans toward the valley. This is China's invisible geography, shaped by memory. Homes built to last generations. In hidden villages, houses are not built for one lifetime. They are built for many. Foundations are placed deep into stone. Walls are thick, insulating against heat and cold. Roofs are repaired, not replaced. A single home may hold grandparents, parents, children. Unwritten family history. Every crack in the wall has meaning. Fireplaces and evening silence. As daylight fades, villages become quiet. Not empty, but calm. Fireplaces glow softly. Meals are shared slowly. Stories replace screens. Silence here is not loneliness. It is rest. Food as culture, not consumption. In hidden villages, food is seasonal and local. Vegetables are grown steps from the kitchen. Grains are dried in open courtyards. Preservation is done by air, salt, and smoke. Recipes are not written. They are remembered. Every meal carries history. Weather as teacher. In the mountains, weather is respected. Mist, rain, wind, and snow are not inconveniences, they are guides. Villagers read. Cloud movement. Wind direction. Soil texture. Long before forecasts, survival depended on observation. This knowledge still exists, quietly. Children of two worlds. In some villages, children walk ancient paths to modern schools. They speak local dialects at home and standard language in class. They live between two worlds. One rooted in tradition. One moving toward speed. The question remains. Which world will they choose? The wall seen from below. Most see the Great Wall from above, from towers and restored paths. But villagers see it from below. From fields. From valleys. From daily life. Abandoned sections, untold stories. Large portions of the Great Wall are untouched, unrestored, and fragile. Here. Grass grows between stones. Towers lean dangerously. Time works quietly. These sections tell the most honest story, not of glory, but of endurance. Part 4, The Rhythm of Endurance. Villages that refuse to disappear. Some villages survived invasions, famine, political change, and modernization. Not because they were strong, but because they were adaptable. They changed just enough to endure. Water, the silent architect. Water determines everything. Village location. Crop choice. Daily routine. Ancient channels still guide water gently through stone paths. No pumps. No noise. Just gravity and wisdom. Women as keepers of continuity. In many villages, women are the keepers of continuity. They preserve recipes. Maintain homes. Pass down language. Hold family memory. Their work is quiet, but essential. Markets without money. In remote regions, exchange still happens without formal markets. Vegetables for grain. Labor for tools. Time for trust. Value here is relational, not numerical. Festivals without spectators. Some celebrations are not for tourists. They happen quietly, without announcement. No stages. No tickets. Only participation. Night under the wall. At night, the Great Wall disappears into darkness. Stars return to the sky. From hidden villages, the wall is no longer visible. But its presence is felt. A reminder of continuity. The slow erosion of memory. When elders pass away, libraries burn, silently. Stories vanish. Songs fade. Names are forgotten. Documentation helps, but it cannot replace living memory. Why these places matter? Hidden villages and forgotten wall sections teach us something rare. That progress does not have to erase the past. That slowness has value. That silence can be powerful. Civilization seen from its edges. To understand China, one must look beyond its cities. To its mountains. Its villages. Its forgotten walls. There, history breath. Morning returns to the mountains. As night fades, light slowly returns to the mountains. Mist lifts from valleys. Stone paths reappear. In hidden villages, morning does not begin with alarms. It begins with movement, quiet, deliberate, familiar. Doors open. Water is carried. Fires are lit. This rhythm has repeated for centuries. The wall is a line through time. The Great Wall is not a straight line. It bends, curves, disappears, and re-emerges. Like history itself. Some sections are strong. Others are broken. All of them are honest. The wall does not hide its age, it accepts it. Living with ruins. In many places, villagers live beside ruins. Old towers become storage rooms. Collapsed walls become gardens. History becomes utility. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is worshipped. The past is simply used. A landscape shaped by hands. Every visible element has been touched by human hands. Terraces carved into mountains. Paths worn into stone. Walls aligned with the sun. The land here is not wild. It is cooperated with. Soundscapes of hidden China. Listen carefully. Wind through broken towers. Footsteps on stone. Water moving through channels. Distant voices echoing in valleys. These sounds are older than machines. Time without urgency. In villages, time is not chased. It is allowed. Work ends when light fades. Rest comes naturally. Days are not optimized, they are lived. This is not inefficiency. It is sustainability. What the Great Wall never protected against. The wall protected against invasion. But it could not protect against migration. Change. Forgetting. Empires fell anyway. Villages adapted anyway. History always finds a way through. The last guardians. In some villages, only a handful of people remain. They stay not out of obligation, but out of connection. They remember where stones were placed, why paths turn, who lived where. They are not guarding buildings. They are guarding meaning. When a village falls silent. When the last resident leaves, silence changes. Not peaceful silence, but absence. Roofs collapse. Plants reclaim courtyards. Names fade. This is how history disappears, quietly. Preservation without control. True preservation does not turn villages into museums. It allows life to continue. A repaired roof. A maintained path. A reason to stay. Not performance, but presence. The wall is a teacher. The Great Wall teaches. That ambition has limits. That endurance matters more than perfection. That time reshapes all things. It does not demand attention. It simply stands. What modern China can learn from hidden China. Speed brings efficiency. Slowness brings resilience. Cities rise quickly. Villages endure quietly. Both are necessary. A civilization beyond landmarks. China is not only its skyline. It is its margins. The places rarely filmed. The stories rarely told. This documentary is not about nostalgia. It is about awareness. Standing still in a moving world. To stand on an unrestored section of the wall is to feel small. Not insignificant, but grounded. The land does not rush. The wall does not compete. The villages do not advertise. They simply exist. The future is decided slowly. The future of these places will not be decided by one policy or one project. It will be decided by who stays, by who returns, by who listens. Slow decisions shape long futures. A final walk along the wall. Imagine walking alone along the wall at sunset. No crowds. No noise. Only stone, sky, and distance. Each step connects you to those who walked before. Not as heroes, but as humans. The journey continues without urgency, because this land has never rushed. The mountains remain where they have always been, and the wall continues to trace their contours, neither conquering nor submitting, but existing alongside them. Stone after stone, step after step, the Great Wall stretches not to impress, but to endure. When you walk beside it, you do not feel guided forward, instead, you feel drawn inward, into reflection, into awareness of time measured not in minutes or years, but in lifetimes. Below the wall, valleys open slowly, revealing villages that do not announce themselves. There are no signs welcoming visitors, no clear boundaries marking where one era ends and another begins. Homes rise naturally from the terrain, built with the same stone as the surrounding cliffs, their colors softened by weather and years of sunlight. These villages were never meant to be seen from afar. They were meant to be lived in. Life here moves quietly, shaped by routine rather than schedule. Morning arrives when light touches the slopes, not when a clock demands attention. A door opens. Footsteps echo briefly, then disappear. Water flows through narrow channels, guided by paths laid down long before memory became fragile. Every movement has purpose, but no urgency. The land sets the pace, and people follow. The Great Wall, visible from certain angles and invisible from others, becomes a constant presence rather than a destination. From the fields, it is a line against the sky. From the paths, it is a shadow on the ridge. From the villages, it is part of the environment, neither glorified nor ignored. It does not interrupt life, it accompanies it. In these places, history does not feel distant. It is not framed or displayed. It is embedded. Stones are reused, not preserved. Old watchtowers become shelters from wind. Fallen bricks support new walls. There is no sense of loss in this transformation, only continuity. The past is not protected behind glass, it is carried forward through use. As hours pass, the landscape changes slowly. Mountains rise and fall. Forests thin, then thicken again. The wall appears, vanishes, then reappears miles later, altered by weather, altered by time, but never erased. Each section tells a different story, shaped by the hands that built it and the land that accepted it. In remote villages, voices are few but familiar. Names are known. Faces are remembered. Stories are not told for entertainment, but for connection. An elder recalls a winter long ago. A path that collapsed. A family that left and never returned. These memories are shared not to preserve the past, but to understand the present. Food is prepared slowly, with attention rather than precision. Ingredients come from nearby fields or distant slopes. Nothing is wasted. Meals are not rushed. They mark time, not interrupt it. Eating here is not consumption, it is participation in a cycle that has not changed in generations. As the day moves on, light shifts across stone surfaces, revealing textures shaped by centuries of wind and rain. The wall absorbs the sun, releases warmth, then cools again as evening approaches. Villages follow the same rhythm. Work slows. Movements become smaller. Sound softens. There is no dramatic transition from day to night. Darkness arrives gradually, as it always has. Fires appear. Lamps glow. The sky fills with stars where cities cannot reach. The wall, now barely visible, remains present in silence. It does not disappear, it rests. Time here does not feel endless, but it feels complete. There is no pressure to record, to capture, to preserve every moment. Existence itself is enough. The wall does not ask to be remembered. The villages do not ask to be saved. They simply continue, one day after another, as they have always done. In the distance, change is happening. Roads extend. Cities expand. The world accelerates. But here, in the spaces between ambition and memory, life holds its shape. Not because it resists the future, but because it understands the past. Walking along an unrestored section of the wall, you feel the unevenness beneath your feet. Stones shift slightly. The surface is imperfect. And yet it holds. This imperfection is not weakness. It is adaptation. It is the same quality that allowed villages to survive storms, droughts, conflict, and abandonment. Nothing here is permanent, and nothing is wasted. Collapse becomes foundation. Silence becomes meaning. Slowness becomes strength. As hours pass in this journey, the realization grows clearer. The Great Wall is not the story. The villages are not the story. The story is the relationship between them. Between structure and life. Between ambition and continuity. Between what was built and what endured. This land does not demand attention. It does not compete for admiration. It remains, patiently, knowing that those who truly look will eventually understand. And so the journey continues, not toward an ending, but deeper into presence. Each step along the wall, each path through a hidden village, carries the same quiet message. That history is not something left behind. It is something still being lived. The path does not end, because in this landscape endings are rare. What feels like a pause is simply another beginning, shaped quietly by the same forces that have always guided life here. The wall continues forward, sometimes rising sharply against the sky, sometimes dissolving into the earth until it seems as though it was never built at all. Yet even where it disappears, its influence remains, woven into the memory of the land and the lives lived around it. As the hours pass, walking becomes less about distance and more about awareness. Each step slows thought. Each breath aligns with the rhythm of the terrain. The mountains no longer feel distant or imposing, they feel familiar. As if they are not obstacles but companions. The wall follows them faithfully, never attempting to straighten what nature shaped unevenly. Villages appear and recede without announcement. A cluster of homes tucked into a fold of hills. A single path branching away from the main route. A courtyard where stone has been polished smooth by generations of passing feet. These places do not wait to be discovered. They exist whether anyone arrives or not. In one village, the sound of wood against stone echoes briefly as repairs are made by hand. There are no instructions, no measurements written down. The knowledge lives in muscle memory, in observation passed quietly from one person to another. The work is not rushed. Precision comes from patience, not pressure. Water continues its journey, guided by channels older than memory. It moves gently, never forced, following gradients understood intuitively by those who shaped them long ago. This water connects fields, homes, and seasons, just as the wall connects distant landscapes. Neither dominates. Both adapt. As daylight shifts again, shadows stretch across terraces and paths. The wall catches the last light on its higher sections, while villages sink into cool shade. This contrast repeats endlessly, a daily reminder that visibility and importance are not the same thing. What is most visible is not always what sustains life. Further along, the wall narrows, becoming fragile, almost hesitant. Stones loosen. Vegetation claims gaps. In these moments, the wall feels less like a structure and more like a memory trying to remain tangible. It does not resist this change. It allows it. Nearby, an abandoned village stands quietly. Roofs partially collapsed. Doors no longer close fully. Yet the layout remains clear. The logic of the place is still readable. Paths still lead somewhere, even if no one walks them now. The absence here is not dramatic. It is gentle, almost respectful. Time continues without announcement. Hours pass marked only by light, temperature, and movement. There is no sense of being lost. Direction matters less than presence. To walk here is not to arrive somewhere, but to exist between moments. At night, the sky opens fully. Without artificial light, stars dominate, sharp and countless. The wall is invisible now, but its line can be felt, traced mentally across the darkness. Villages rest. Sounds soften. The land breathes slowly. Morning returns without ceremony. Mist rises again. The cycle repeats, unchanged by observation. Nothing here performs. Nothing explains itself. Understanding comes not through information, but through time spent quietly noticing. As the journey stretches on, it becomes clear that endurance here is not dramatic. It does not announce victories or mourn losses. It continues. Stone weathers. Paths remain. Life adapts. The wall stands where it can, falls where it must, and remains meaningful either way. The longer one stays, the less there is to say, and the more there is to feel. Words become unnecessary. Presence becomes enough. The wall and the villages do not teach through instruction, but through example. They show what it means to exist without urgency, to change without forgetting, to endure without demanding recognition. And so the movement continues, hour after hour, step after step, through a landscape that does not seek to be completed. There is no final view, no ultimate destination. Only the ongoing quiet dialogue between land, stone, and those who pass through, listening. As this journey slowly comes to rest, one truth becomes clear. China's Great Wall and its hidden villages are not relics of a distant past. They are living witnesses to time itself. The wall, shaped by countless hands, still follows the land with quiet strength. It does not stand to impress, but to endure. It reminds us that even the greatest human efforts must eventually learn to coexist with nature. The hidden villages, often overlooked and rarely documented, carry a different kind of power. They show us that survival does not always come from size, speed, or visibility. Sometimes, it comes from patience, memory, and the willingness to live in balance with the land. Together, the wall and the villages tell a deeper story. A story not of conquest or glory, but of continuity. In a world that moves faster each day, these places offer something rare. They offer stillness. They offer perspective. They remind us that history is not only something we study. It is something we walk through, live beside, and quietly inherit. And as long as stone paths are walked, as long as walls rise and fall, as long as villages breathe in silence, this story will continue. If you enjoyed this documentary, if this journey through China's Great Wall and hidden villages spoke to you, take a moment to support the channel. Thumbs up like this video to help it reach more viewers. Speech balloon comment below and share what part of the journey stayed with you. Bell subscribe for more long-form documentaries exploring history, culture, and hidden places around the world. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Thank you for watching. And until the next journey, keep exploring.